You feel disconnected from your body, living only from the neck up. That persistent ache in your lower back, the numbness you can't name. There's an ancient force trapped in your hips, cellular grief and ancestral trauma your conscious mind abandoned. Temple dancers and tribal healers knew this secret for millennia. Once you unlock this sacred vibration, everything changes. Are you ready to remember the dance your soul came here to perform? There is a movement that lives inside you, a spiral older than language. It is not an exercise to be learned, but a memory to be awakened. This is the sacred dance of the hips, a forgotten dialect of the soul, etched into the very helix of your DNA. In the slow, intentional rotation of your pelvic center, a current of forgotten electricity begins to flow, unlocking archives of ancestral wisdom and cellular grief that your conscious mind has long since abandoned. Every turn is a story of the grandmother whose fear was held so tightly in her body that it became a rigid silence. A story passed down to you not in words, but in tension. A story of the joy of a distant ancestor dancing under a full moon. A wild, untamed energy that still hums deep within your bones, waiting for permission to surface. Your mind does not remember these tales, but your body does. The pelvic bowl is a sacred vessel, a resonant chamber where the unwept tears and unsung songs of your lineage are stored. This movement, this gentle, spiraling dance, is the key to that locked chamber. It is a ritual of release. This is not a performance. It is an excavation, a sacred peeling away of layers of conditioning that have taught you to hold still, to brace, to disconnect from this vibrant core of your being. Culture has taught you to fear the raw, instinctual power that resides in the hips, to sever the connection between the earth beneath your feet and the fire in your soul. And so, this center of creative energy, of life force, has been quieted. The vibration has been dampened, but it has never been extinguished. It is simply waiting for you to remember the rhythm, to initiate the sacred spin that brings it all back to life. And perhaps you have felt it. A persistent ache you cannot name. A strange numbness in your lower back. A feeling of being ungrounded, disconnected from your own vitality, as if you are living only from the neck up. You may have sought answers in your mind, analyzing thoughts and beliefs, searching for a logical reason for this profound unease. Here is the truth that will change everything. That sensation is not a defect. It is not a sign of brokenness. It is a communication. It is a silent, desperate cry from the deepest part of your being, from the soul itself, begging to be heard. It is the trapped energy of generations, the unprocessed emotion held captive in your nervous system, calling out for movement. It is a profound longing for awakening, a sacred summons to come home to the body. That ache is a prayer for the dance to begin. It is the sacred wound whispering the first step of your healing, inviting you to turn inward, to spin, and to finally release what has been held for so long. It is asking you to remember a language you were born knowing, a path of liberation that begins and ends in the wisdom of your own magnificent body. This language of the body is not new. It is the oldest scripture, written in bone and sinew, practiced long before the mind learned to build walls around the heart. For millennia, ancient cultures revered this sacred connection, understanding that the body was not a machine to be commanded, but a living temple, a vessel of divine energy. They knew that the soul speaks through sensation, and that true healing is found in movement. Imagine the cool stone temples of Egypt, veiled in shadows and the scent of burning frankincense. Here, the slow, circling movement of the hips was a profound act of devotion. It was a ritual, a sacred dance performed not for an audience, but as a direct communion with the divine. Every deliberate spin was a prayer, an offering that unwound the knots of hidden emotion held deep within the pelvic bowl. This was a sophisticated form of release, an understanding that grief, fear, and even joy could stagnate within the body, and that only through this specific, spiraling motion could that trapped energy be set free. It was an awakening of the life force, a way to honor the gods by fully inhabiting the gift of the physical form. Now feel the earth beneath your feet change, becoming the rich, red soil of the African continent. Hear the resonant pulse of the drum, a heartbeat that echoes the rhythm of your own. Here, the ritual of the spin took on a different yet equally sacred dimension. The dance became a bridge, a vibrant portal between the living and the dead. Through rhythmic, continuous movement, communities would connect with their ancestral spirits, calling upon their wisdom and their strength. This was not a symbolic act. It was a direct technology of healing. They knew that trauma was not just a personal burden, but a generational echo, a vibration passed down through the bloodline. And so they would dance. They would spin to shake loose the inherited sorrows, to heal the wounds of those who came before them, and to clear the path for those yet to come. The spin was a cleansing fire, a physical incantation to restore balance to the soul of the tribe. These ancient peoples may not have used the language of modern science, but their intuitive wisdom was flawless. They understood the hips as a throne of vibration, the energetic center from which life itself emerges. They knew that this sacred movement was the key to awakening the body's deepest intelligence. Today, we might speak of the nervous system, of how rhythmic motion can soothe the primal brain and activate the vagus nerve, sending signals of safety and release throughout the entire body. But they did not need our words to know the truth. They felt it. They lived it. They embodied a wisdom that we are only now beginning to remember with the analytical mind. And here is the awakening that changes everything. This is not just their story. It is your inheritance. The echoes of that temple dance, the pulse of that ancestral drum, they do not live in the distant past. They live in you. The same potential for profound release, the same capacity for vibrational healing, resides within the sacred architecture of your own body. This ancient knowledge is encoded in your cells, a birthright waiting to be claimed. As you feel the weight of this heritage, a deep and stirring reverence begins to rise within you. It is the realization that the key to unlocking your own trapped emotion, to healing your own lineage, is not a new invention. It is a timeless ritual, a sacred dance that your soul already knows by heart. A profound and urgent desire begins to surface, a longing not just to understand this power, but to embody it, to let this forgotten dance become your own personal prayer for homecoming. That longing you feel is not a vague spiritual yearning. It is a biological imperative. Your mind, trained in a world of logic and proof, may still be searching for a foothold, a reason to trust this deep instinctual pull. It demands a map, a blueprint to prove that this journey inward is real. And here is where the ancient world and modern science meet in breathtaking alignment, where the sacred and the cellular become one. Imagine your nervous system as a vast, intricate root system running through the inner landscape of your body, communicating every sensation, every subtle shift in your internal weather. And through this system wanders a master channel, a sacred river of information known as the vagus nerve. It is the primary conduit of connection, traveling from your brainstem down through your heart, your lungs, and deep into your core, constantly asking your primal brain the most fundamental question: am I safe? When trauma occurs, the answer is a resounding no, and this system locks down. It traps that fear as frozen energy, a silent alarm that never turns off, holding your body in a state of perpetual brace. This is where the ancient ritual becomes a modern miracle. The slow, intentional spin of your hips is not merely a symbolic gesture. It is a precise biological key. The pelvic bowl, where so much ancestral and personal tension is stored, is densely populated with nerve endings that connect directly to this powerful vagal pathway. As you initiate the dance, you create a low, resonant vibration. This is not just a feeling. It is a frequency. This gentle, rhythmic energy is a direct communication, a current of somatic information that travels directly up the vagus nerve, delivering a new message to the deepest, most guarded parts of your brain. The message bypasses the analytical mind entirely. It speaks in the body's native tongue, the language of pure sensation. The vibration whispers, "You are safe now. You are grounded. The threat has passed." And your body, which has been waiting a lifetime to hear these words, listens. The rigid grip of the freeze response begins to soften. Your breath deepens, your heart rate steadies. A wave of warmth begins to emanate from your core, a physical sign that your nervous system is shifting gears, moving out of survival mode and into a state of profound rest and healing. This is not imagination. It is physiology. It is the release of stored survival energy, the very essence of what we call trauma, finally being allowed to melt and flow. And in this moment, everything shifts. The rituals of the temple, the dance of the tribe, they were never just stories. They were a flawless, intuitive science of the soul. Those ancient healers were masters of the nervous system. They knew that to heal emotion, you had to speak to the body. To release the past, you had to move the present. The sacred spin was their technology for regulating the vagus nerve, a powerful somatic tool for guiding the soul back into a state of safety where true awakening could begin. The incredible truth lands inside you, not as an idea, but as a felt certainty. The map you are looking for is the very architecture of your own body. The myth is real, written in your own biology. This is not something you need to earn or learn from the outside. It is your inherent design. A surge of electric excitement runs through you, a profound sense of trust in this process, in yourself. The healing you have been seeking is not a distant peak to be climbed, but a vibration to be initiated. The awakening is closer than you ever dared to believe. It is one sacred spin away. And so, the journey home begins. Not in the mind, but in the body. Not with a map, but with a movement. The invitation is here, now, in this very moment. Find a space where you can be undisturbed, a small sanctuary where the world outside can fall away. It does not need to be silent, only intentional. This is sacred ground. You are about to walk upon the inner landscape of your own being. Kick off your shoes. Let your bare feet meet the floor and feel it. Truly feel the solid earth beneath you, the unshakable support that has been there your entire life, holding you without question. Feel the planet rising to meet the soles of your feet, a silent agreement of belonging. Allow a soft bend in your knees, a gentle unlocking that signals to your body it is safe to release its rigid brace against the world. And now, if you feel safe enough, allow your eyes to drift closed. The world you need to see now is within. Bring all of your awareness, like a soft and gentle rain, down from your thinking mind, past your throat, through the chamber of your heart, and let it pool in the very center of your being. Let it gather in the deep, resonant bowl of your pelvis. For a moment, do nothing. Simply feel the weight of this sacred center. Feel it as an anchor, a dense and powerful foundation of pure energy. This is your throne of creation, the place where ancestral memory is stored like sleeping embers. Sense the stillness here, the quiet potential that has been waiting for your return. This is the starting point of all healing. Now let a movement begin. Do not force it. Do not choreograph it with your mind. Invite it. Let it rise from this deep pelvic core as if it were a memory bubbling to the surface. Perhaps it starts as a barely perceptible sway, a gentle rocking from side to side, so small that an outside observer might not even notice. Let it emerge as an echo of an ancient rhythm, a pulse your soul knows, but your mind has long forgotten. This is not an exercise. It is a listening. You are listening for the first notes of a song your body has been longing to sing. Follow the feeling. Let the movement be slow, intentional, spiraling outward from that core of grounded energy. As you move, notice what you feel. Become a compassionate witness to every sensation that arises. You may feel a tightness in your lower back, a familiar ache you have carried for years. You may sense a strange density, a heaviness in your hips, as if you are carrying unspoken griefs that are not your own. Do not judge this. Do not try to push it away. This tension is not your enemy. It is a communication. It is the physical signature of trapped emotion, the echo of trauma finally being given a voice, a sacred vibration beginning to stir. Simply by bringing your gentle awareness to it, you are beginning the process of release. And then something new begins. Underneath the layers of tension, you may feel it. A subtle shift. At first, it might be so faint you question if it is real. A low, gentle hum emanating from the very center you are moving. A flicker of warmth, like the first ray of sun after a long winter, spreading through your pelvic bowl. It is a current of soft, liquid light, a cellular awakening. This is the vibration. This is the life force, the dormant energy, finally stirring from its long slumber. A quiet wonder blossoms inside you, a breathtaking recognition that this simple, sacred spin, this gentle movement you allowed to happen, has unlocked a forgotten doorway within your own soul. The body is speaking, and you, finally, are here to listen. This warmth is the first word in a language of healing you were born to remember. This warmth is your permission slip. It is the body saying yes. Trust it. Follow this emerging current and allow the gentle sway to find its own direction, its own sacred geometry. Let the movement evolve, deepening from a simple rock into a slow, deliberate circle. A spin. Let your hips begin to trace a spiral in the space around you, a shape that echoes the galaxies, the nautilus shell, the very helix of your own DNA. This is the signature of life, and you are remembering how to write it with your own body. With each slow, conscious rotation, you are engaging in a profound act of alchemy. Imagine that every story of your life, and the lives of those who came before you, is stored in the deep tissues of your pelvic bowl. They are not memories of the mind, but knots of energy, tangled threads of fear, grief, and unspoken truths. Now, feel how this sacred spin is the act of unwinding them. Each circle is a gentle tug on a single thread. You are not forcing or fighting. You are simply moving, and in that movement, you are loosening what has been held rigid for a lifetime. Breathe deeply into this ritual. Let your inhale expand your belly and your exhale soften your hips, allowing the vibration to travel further, to ripple through your entire being. This breath is the river that carries the healing current, dissolving the rigid edges of past pain, washing over the hardened shores of old trauma. You are performing a sacred dance of release, a quiet prayer spoken in the language of movement. The spin is a physical key, turning in a lock deep within your nervous system. You are coaxing the frozen energy of old survival responses to finally melt. The tension you've carried as a shield, the bracing you mistook for strength, feel it begin to soften. Feel the dense, protective armor begin to give way, not to an attack, but to this gentle, persistent, loving motion. You stay with it. You trust the circle. You trust the breath. You trust the quiet, insistent hum that is growing from your core, a signal of awakening from the soul itself. And then, in the middle of a slow, conscious circle, it happens. Without warning or mental effort, something shifts. It is a sudden, astonishing lightness that blossoms in your frame. It is as if a dense, invisible weight you have carried your entire life, a weight you had accepted as a fundamental part of your own structure, has simply dissolved. You feel it in your bones, in the space between your joints. Your body feels suddenly more buoyant, more spacious, as if it is floating in a sea of grace. The surprise of it might take your breath away. You did not strive for this. You did not even know to ask for it. In that moment of pure somatic shock, the truth lands. This spin is not just moving muscle and bone. It is releasing history. That weight was a story, a forgotten sorrow, an ancestral burden your mind had no memory of, but your body carried with unwavering loyalty. And this movement, this simple, sacred dance, has just set it free. A profound wave of reverence washes over you, a deep and unshakable, knowing that you have stumbled upon a truth more real than anything your mind could ever conjure. The healing you seek is not an idea to be understood, but an energy to be moved. The path home is not a thought, but a vibration. And with this newfound lightness as your guide, a quiet, powerful resolve settles within you. You will continue this dance. You will keep turning. You will follow this feeling all the way back to the heart of who you truly are. With this newfound lightness as your guide, a quiet, powerful resolve settles within you. You will continue this dance. You will keep turning. You will follow this feeling all the way back to the heart of who you truly are. And so you do. For a few moments more, you allow the sacred spin to continue, but now something has changed. The movement is no longer an excavation of what was, but a celebration of what is. The lightness infuses every turn, every breath. Then, with the same deep, instinctual wisdom that began the movement, you feel the invitation to slow down. Allow the circle to grow smaller, tighter, the spiral turning inward upon itself. Let the spin soften into a gentle sway, the sway condensing into a subtle pulse, until the outward motion ceases completely. You come to a natural, graceful rest, standing or sitting in the center of your own quiet power. The dance has ended, but the energy it awakened is more vibrant than ever, a silent hum beneath your skin. Now, bring your hands to your body. Let them come to rest over your hips, cradling the sacred bowl of your pelvis. Feel the warmth of your own palms meeting your own flesh. This is not a casual touch. It is a profound gesture of homecoming, of self-possession. You are laying claim to this sacred ground, acknowledging this center as your own. In this simple posture, you are becoming both the temple and the devotee, the healer and the healed. Breathe into this space. Let your inhale be a soft, golden light pouring directly into your pelvic center, filling it with life. And on your exhale, feel that energy settle. Feel it anchor deep into your bones. With each breath, you are performing the final step of the ritual. You are sealing the vibration you have so carefully cultivated, ensuring that this awakening is not a fleeting experience, but a permanent shift in your cellular memory. This breath is a sacred stamp, impressing the frequency of healing and release into the very fabric of your being. You are consciously integrating the freedom you have just reclaimed. And now, allow a new vision to arise from this anchored core. See it, feel it, as a column of radiant, liquid light beginning to spiral upward from the base of your spine. It is the essence of the energy you have just released, now purified and potent. It winds its way up through your torso, bathing your organs in a gentle luminescence. It passes through your heart, transforming any lingering echoes of sorrow into pure compassion. It rises through your throat, dissolving the energetic knots of unspoken words, and continues into your mind, clearing the pathways of frantic thought, bringing a luminous clarity. This spiraling light is the truth of your soul, rising from its ancestral throne in your hips to harmonize your entire being. In this moment, a profound sense of rootedness takes hold. You feel the energetic connection, not just to the earth beneath you, but to the long, unbroken line of those who came before. This is the wisdom of your lineage, no longer felt as a burden of trauma, but as a deep well of strength. The healing you have initiated is not for you alone. It ripples backward and forward through time. And what rises to the surface is not a storm of emotion, not a dramatic catharsis, but something far more powerful. It is a stillness. A deep, unshakable, and resonant calm settles over you, a peace so profound it feels ancient. This is the great surprise of the awakening. The release of trapped survival energy does not leave you fragile or empty. It reveals the bedrock of your own being. This quiet is not an absence of feeling, but the presence of your own soul, unobscured by the noise of past pain. Within this stillness, you discover a strength you never knew you possessed, a quiet, resilient confidence that needs no external validation. This is the gift of the ritual. You have not just released your trauma, you have reclaimed the power it was consuming. This calm is the new ground upon which you stand, a foundation of peace you will now carry from this sacred space into every moment of your life. This peace you feel is not a fragile state to be protected, but a resilient force to be lived. And you will see its power bloom in the most unexpected soil, even in a life that has forgotten the very language of its own soul. Consider a man named Liam. To the world, he is the picture of control, his face a carefully constructed mask of pleasant neutrality. But if you were to feel the energy within his body, you would find a fortress. Decades of unwept tears and unspoken anger have been meticulously managed by his mind, but stored as rigid tension in his body. His jaw is a silent vice, his shoulders are permanently braced for an impact that never comes, and his hips are locked, frozen in place as if guarding a vault of ancestral grief he doesn't even know he carries. He moves through his life as a disembodied intellect, his body a numb and inconvenient vessel he has learned to ignore. Yet a deep and nameless ache, a profound sense of disconnection, draws him to this work. He hears the call not with his ears, but with a deep cellular longing for something more than his hollow existence. Hesitantly, reluctantly, he begins the ritual. He stands, his body awkward and stiff, and tries to bring his awareness down into his pelvic core. For him, this is foreign territory, a landscape he has spent a lifetime avoiding. The first movement is not a graceful sway, but a resistant, jerky motion, his mind fighting for control every inch of the way, judging the movement as foolish, pointless. But he persists. He closes his eyes and follows the invitation to let a spiral begin. He pushes through the thick resistance, the feeling of utter absurdity, and commits to the slow, intentional circle. And then something begins to happen. As he continues the sacred spin, a flicker of warmth ignites deep within the frozen landscape of his hips. It is faint at first, a sensation so foreign he almost dismisses it. But he stays with the movement, and the warmth begins to spread, a slow, melting current moving through tissues that have been cold and numb for years. It is a non-verbal breakthrough, a direct communication from his soul that bypasses the iron grip of his mind. Years of buried emotion, the silent trauma of a boy taught never to cry, begin to thaw. The warmth travels up his spine, and without any conscious thought, a deep, shuddering sigh escapes his lips. His shoulders drop an inch, releasing a burden he has carried since childhood. This is the release. It is not a memory, not an intellectual insight, but a purely physical event. The trapped survival energy, held for so long in the brace of his body, is finally beginning to move, to flow, to let go. As the movement naturally slows, he brings his hands to rest on his hips, just as you did. He anchors this new flowing energy. In this moment of profound self-contact, his carefully constructed mask crumbles, not in a display of dramatic emotion, but into a look of pure, astonished wonder. The tightness around his eyes softens. The chronic tension in his jaw dissolves. A sense of spaciousness fills his frame, as if he has just been returned to a home he never knew he had left. As you witness this silent, sacred rebirth, you understand. You see with perfect clarity how the physical release becomes emotional freedom. Liam has not analyzed his past or talked through his pain. He has danced it. He has moved it. He has allowed a simple vibration to unwind the complex knots of his history. A profound and heartfelt connection rises within you, a deep knowing that this is not just Liam's story. It is a testament to the power that resides in your own body. His awakening is a reflection of your own potential. The belief lands in your heart, solid and true. This ancient ritual, this sacred dance, holds the key to unlock the buried truths and forgotten life force waiting within you too. This knowing settles deep within your cells, a foundation of truth. You feel the call to continue, to go deeper into the ritual. But as you ready yourself to begin the spin once more, a ghost enters the room. A cold flush creeps up your neck, a sudden sharp contraction in your belly. It is the chilling, familiar voice of shame. It whispers that this movement, this sacred awakening of your hips, is somehow wrong. That it is too much, too raw, too exposed. That it should be hidden, controlled, quieted. This is not your voice. It is the echo of a culture that has taught you to fear your own body, to sever the connection to your most potent creative energy. It is the inherited stigma of generations who were told that the power residing in the pelvic bowl was a source of sin, not a throne of the soul. This shame is a dense, heavy fog that has settled over your ancestral birthright, an invisible cage built from judgment and fear. It is a powerful anesthetic designed to keep you numb, to keep you from feeling the full, untamed vibration of your own life force. It is the final guardian at the gate of your deepest healing. You feel its weight, its attempt to freeze your movement, to make you small and still. And for a moment, you might hesitate. This is the great obstacle. This is the shadow that has held so much of your true self captive. But you are not here to obey this ghost. You are here to set yourself free. So you breathe. You stand your sacred ground and you take a conscious breath, not away from the feeling, but directly into the heart of it. You inhale into the tightness in your belly, offering it warmth, offering it presence. On the exhale, you do not push the shame away. You simply soften around it, allowing it to be there without giving it your power. With your next breath, you offer yourself an affirmation, a quiet truth spoken to your own soul. This body is my home. This dance is my prayer. This ritual is the reclaiming of what was always mine. And here, in the heart of that resistance, the most profound awakening occurs. You realize this shame is not a wall. It is a dam. And its size, its strength, its very intensity is a direct measure of the magnificent, roaring river of life force it has been built to contain. The shame is not a sign of your brokenness. It is a testament to the immense power you are on the verge of unleashing. The fear of being too much is simply the shadow cast by your own magnificent light. The trauma, the grief, the ecstatic joy held in your pelvic center. It is a force of nature. And this shame is the last, desperate attempt of the conditioned mind to keep that force from changing everything. This realization lands like a bolt of lightning in your nervous system. The cold grip of fear does not just loosen. It alchemizes into a surge of heat, a current of fierce, holy determination. The shame is no longer an obstacle. It is a map, pointing directly to where your greatest treasure is buried. A fire ignites in your core, a sacred anger at the generations of silencing, and a profound love for the part of you that is finally ready to be heard. The question is no longer, am I allowed? But what have I been waiting for? With this fire as your fuel, you are ready to move beyond judgment, to let the spin begin again, not in spite of the shame, but because of it. You will dance through this shadow, and you will emerge on the other side, fully, vibrantly, and unapologetically alive. With this fire as your fuel, the spin begins again. But this is not the dance of release. It is the dance of reclamation. Each circle of your hips is no longer a gentle unwinding of old sorrow, but a powerful declaration of your sovereign right to exist, to feel, to take up space. You are not pushing the shame away. You are dancing with it, turning its dense, heavy energy into radiant power. The vibration that rises from your pelvic core is no longer a subtle hum, but a resonant chord, a song of pure life force that floods every cell. You are moving through the shadow, and with every turn, you are pulling its power into your own light, emerging on the other side not just healed, but whole. Fully, vibrantly, unapologetically alive. You have stood at the heart of the ritual and completed the sacred circle. This is the culmination of a journey that began with a whisper of pain and ends in a symphony of peace. You have returned. The body, once a lost kingdom you navigated with a stranger's map, is now undeniably home. The old ghosts of trauma, the dense weights of ancestral grief, have not been violently exorcised, but have dissolved in the warm, healing current of your own movement. The vibration you cultivated, that sacred frequency of your soul, now flows freely from the earth beneath your feet, up through your legs, and radiates from the throne of your pelvic bowl. It is a constant, steady hum of vitality, a testament to the profound resilience of your own spirit. This is the awakening. It is the seamless union of what was once divided. Your mind no longer stands apart, judging and analyzing, but rests in quiet reverence of the body's deep intelligence. Your energy is no longer trapped in the frozen patterns of the past, but flows in harmony with your present truth. The inward quest has unearthed the treasure your soul has been guarding for a lifetime, the pure, untamed charge of your authentic essence. This is the vitality that cultural conditioning tried to quiet, the wildness that fear tried to cage. But it could never be erased. It was only waiting for you to remember the dance that sets it free. Carry this state with you. Let it be the ground upon which you walk, the energy from which you speak, the peace from which you see the world. This is not a fleeting state you have visited, but the truth of who you are, reclaimed and embodied. To affirm this profound transformation and to anchor it into your life, take these next steps as part of the ritual. Offer a gesture of light to this work, a sacred acknowledgement of the journey you have taken. Make a commitment to stay connected to this path of remembrance by joining this community and activating the signal that calls you back to your own center. Share this ritual with those you know are also seeking a way home, extending the thread of healing outward. And now, as a final powerful incantation, go to the space of shared words and declare your truth. Solidify your commitment to this embodied wisdom by writing, "My body remembers what my soul came to dance." Let this be your seal, your promise to yourself to never again forget the language of your own magnificent body. The journey does not end here. Choose the next step on your path. Allow the current to guide you deeper. Feel the truth of this moment. You are not alone in this awakening. You are part of a vast and growing energy, a global community of souls remembering this ancient dance together. Feel the collective strength, the shared resolve of thousands of others who are turning inward, releasing their history, and reclaiming their power. Let this wave of connection become a surge of inspiration within you, a powerful current that will carry you out of this sacred space and into your life, emboldened to live this liberation every single day. If you're ready to take your awakening beyond the mind and into your body, there's a free presentation linked in the pinned comment that reveals a simple method to cleanse your pineal gland and support your activation. Open it in a new tab to learn more, then come back to continue your journey. We'll go even deeper in our next video.